Another Hindu converted, another life lost to Islam, another family destroyed. In Shamli, a pleading, enraged father approached the police after his 25-year-old son was brainwashed into converting to Islam by his 25-year-old gym trainer, Chandni Qureshi. Ayush Malik met Chandni Qureshi in a local gym 5 years ago. Soon, they fell in love. But this love was a little different from the love in the novels that we read. This love involved Ayush becoming Rahman. This love involved Chandni, 6 of her family members, including her father, and 3 Islamic clerics, brainwashing Ayush to become Muslim. This love involved secret nikah 4 years ago, fake marriage document, and an alleged extortion bid and death threats to Ayush's family. Chandni, her family members, and Mullah Maulana sat Ayush down day after day and spoke to him about following Islamic practices, about how he should abandon Hinduism and convert to Islam. They showed him videos of a Pakistani cleric, Dr. Israr Ahmed, Zakir Naik's mentor, might I add. If that name sounds familiar, don't be too surprised. The victim in the TCS Nashik case was also made to watch videos of Dr. Israr and Zakir Naik while she was being taught to offer namaz and spit on her own religion. This is all the markings of predatory proselytization. Basically, based on the father's revelation, it seems that this is a classic case of a jihadi doing what jihadis do best: subvert the faith of Hindus to effect either submission or conversion. Ayush, however, has a very different version to tell the world. Here is what he said.
अपने आप को मैंने फिट समझा, मुझे दिल लगा, मेरा दिल करा, मुझे फिर जब मुझे इजाज़त है इस चीज़ की, मैंने इसका हक मार के करा, या मैंने संविधान तोड़ के करा, तो मैं कर सकूँ, मैंने करा, बहुत लोगों ने करा, मैंने भी करा। वैसा कोई टर्निंग पॉइंट नहीं है बहुत ज़्यादा, मैंने धीरे धीरे सीखा, बट ऐसा नहीं कि मैं फला दिन इंस्पायर हुआ और आज मैंने कलमा पढ़ा तो जी मैं कल से मुसलमान हो गया, आज से मुसलमान हो गया, ऐसा नहीं है। इस्लाम को आप धीरे धीरे जान के पहचान के, जिसने खुद से जो दिल से करेगा ना, दिल से सीखेगा, करेगा, इखलास के साथ करेगा, सिंसियरिटी के साथ करेगा, उसको बगैर रहनुमाई के तहत जाएंगे।
According to Ayush, he was genuinely influenced by Islam and therefore adopted it as his faith. For those like Zubair and his jihadi brethren and sisters like Arfa, that statement is the Asmani truth. But that is not how brainwashing works. A victim who has been brainwashed won't necessarily know that he has been brainwashed. That is, in fact, the very nature of brainwashing. It is altering a person's belief system by applying acute psychological pressure and manipulation. But there are going to be signs. Signs which those motivated to subvert the Hindu faith might overlook, but we won't. Now let's consider Ayush's statements carefully and break down what they indicate. First, in the video I showed you, he says, Dr. Israr की बात ज़्यादा लोग काटते नहीं.
डॉक्टर इसरार की बात ज़्यादा लोग काटते नहीं, मैंने वो अच्छा लगा था।
अच्छा ये बताओ कि जिस तरीके से आप पहले मंदिर में पूजा नहीं करते थे, लेकिन अब आप 5 टाइम की नमाज पढ़ रहे हैं,
वो क्योंकि इस्लाम में मैं पूरी तरह से आया, जान पहचान के समझ गया, वो फर्ज है।
Right off the bat, he has revealed intent. Now, why would Chandni, her family, and her cohort of Maulana show Ayush videos of Dr. Israr if their intent was not to convert him? Consider this apple to apple parallel. You know how ISIS recruits jihadis? They show them a slick production of warlike combat videos which glorify violence in search for a utopian version of the Islamic Caliphate. Well, whatever passes off for utopian in Islam, that is. The slick production mimics first-person video games and appeals to thrill seekers while normalizing extreme violence for the insecure seeking ideological purity. They make ISIS jihadis appear culty, valorous, and cool through professionally edited videos, exploiting grievances and insecurities to instill religious fanaticism and a zeal to die and kill, brutally so, for a horrific cause, establishing Sharia law, killing or converting kafirs, and ushering in the Islamic Caliphate. The intent behind producing and showing these videos is simple: to recruit more jihadis. We need to apply the same logic here. What was the purpose behind showing Ayush videos of Dr. Israr Ahmad? A Maulana who believes in the two-nation theory, preaches that conversion to Islam and ushering in the Islamic Caliphate in the Indian subcontinent is a religious duty. What was the purpose of showing Ayush videos of a cleric who claims that metaphysical beliefs of Hinduism are Islamic tenets? What was the purpose of showing these videos by Dr. Israr Ahmad to Ayush, where he says idol worship is a bastardized version of the original Islamic tenets and therefore shirk? What was the purpose of showing videos to Ayush where the Maulana draws horrifying visuals of eternal hell, instilling fear that other than converting to Islam, there is no path to saving oneself from eternal damnation? Another revealing aspect of this statement, of course, is the crafty loop that Muslims seem to create. Ayush says that he was made to watch videos of Dr. Israr, but there aren't many who disagree with what he says. This is the most potent weapon of Islam, isn't it? If you really think about it. If you counter their belief system, they will claim blasphemy and murder you. And in the absence of a robust and aggressive counter to the nonsense propounded by such preachers, those like Ayush conclude that the argument and the beliefs are strong, which is why no one is trying to prove them invalid. Does this sound like a willing acceptance of the Islamic faith? Anyway, let's move on to his second statement. Ayush says, मंदिर में जाना कोई कंपल्सरी नहीं है, इस्लाम में आपको पूरा निभाना पड़ेगा.
मंदिर का जाना कोई कंपलसरी नहीं है, ना मैं उसको फॉलो करता था, मुझे ज़्यादा मैं कह नहीं सकता. और ये है कि इस्लाम में अगर आप आए तो आपको पूरा निभाना पड़ेगा, नमाज आपके ऊपर फर्ज है.
Again, a beautifully revealing statement about not only what ails the Hindu society, making it vulnerable, but also what the Muslim world uses to its benefit. What Ayush was told is basically this. You can be a Hindu and follow rituals as an option, but as a Muslim, it is your duty to follow every aspect of a religion. Now, as a Hindu, recall how many times have you really heard punchlines like Hinduism is the most liberal religion, Hinduism has no place for rigidity, you can follow your own version of Hinduism, there is no need to go to a temple, God resides within us, rituals are not essential to Hinduism, man makes religion, religion does not make man, so on and so forth. Did you realize that these punchlines used to make one appear cool and contemporary are perhaps the root of all subjugation of Hindus? What is the purpose of structure in a religion? We need to ask ourselves. Well, structure preserves faith. It preserves sanctity and connects one to the community, past and present. In a sense, structure in a religion provides stability and moral clarity. After all, Shraddhu Bodh cannot really exist without Swayam Bodh. It is Swayam Bodh which helps one recognize who one is and who the other is. When one is repeatedly told that Hinduism has no structure, no boundaries, no limits, no do's and don'ts, no compulsions and no exclusions, it ceases to be a religion which binds its followers. One is left without faith, without moral clarity, without Swayambodh, without Shatrubodh, and essentially without an identity. Think of it this way. How easy would it be to encroach on a land with no peripheral markings, no boundaries, no limits, and no margins? How easy would it be to cross a threshold that has never been defined? And how easy would it be to cross the Rubicon when the limits of the acceptable have been shattered? When those seeking moral clarity are told that the system of faith they have been following by virtue of their birth has nothing to offer, what the Muslims essentially do is create a fertile ground for conversion aided by the leftist manipulation of Sanatan Dharma. Ayush was repeatedly told that Hinduism has no system, no ritualistic demands, and therefore it is not particularly wrong to leave that religious fold. After all, when nothing is mandated and no edges have been defined, painting outside the margins can't be wrong, can it? Ayush was basically manipulated into believing that leaving Hinduism is not wrong because Hinduism, in and of itself, has no religious requirement that needs to be fulfilled. With that divorce from duty, conversion becomes easy because morally it does not weigh on one's conscience. This, of course, isn't true, but it is a potent tool to manipulate and brainwash the lost and, of course, the ones in love. Ayush unfortunately fell in love with a Muslim woman. He wanted to be with her almost desperately. In that mental state, the woman he loved, 6 members of her family, and 3 Maulanas convinced him that Islam not only provides him the opportunity to be with the woman he loves, but is also a structured system that would provide him what his faith, Hinduism, cannot. If that isn't manipulation, if that isn't brainwashing, what is? With this in mind, let's move on to the 4th statement. अगर आप मुसलमान बन गए तो वापस हिंदू हो नहीं सकते. This is what the Maulanas told Ayush. This is what Chandni and her family told Ayush.
अगर आप मुसलमान बन गए तो आप हो नहीं सकते. अगर आप बदल गए, आप कुछ भी बन गए या कुछ भी फॉलो कर रहे, तो आप मुसलमान बन ही नहीं सकते.
The Maulanas already convinced Ayush that there is nothing morally wrong in leaving the fold of Hinduism, the fluid, free-for-all faith which has no boundaries at all for them. However, they also convinced him in the process that since Islam is a higher form of religious faith, it would be morally corrupt to leave its fold. It would be wrong, it would be a sin that is rewarded only with death. Psychologically, sociologically, and economically, individuals thrive most when pursuing goals that transcend their limited understanding. When they convinced Ayush that Hinduism is merely a choice one makes for personal fulfillment, they also convinced him that Islam would give his life existential meaning, a faith in which every act of his would be structured to serve a higher purpose. And also that since converting out of Hinduism comes with no moral harm, it is truly the least he can do for the woman he loves. If that isn't manipulation, ladies and gentlemen, if that isn't brainwashing, what is? I now come to the last statement that I would like to analyze, a statement by Ayush which confirms why his conversion and brainwashing happened behind closed doors, confirms that those who converted him hid their true intentions. Ayush in the video I showed you says, छुपाने की इजाजत है माहौल के हिसाब से.
ये तो क्या इस्लाम इस बात की इजाजत देता है कि आप झूठ बोले, छुपाए किसी बात की?
छुपाने की इजाजत है माहौल के हिसाब से.
He confirms what is known as al-taqiyya, where Islam allows Muslims to lie and pretend to be something else in order to hide their true intentions. And what are those true intentions, I ask? The spread of Islam all over the world. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's Islamic theology. And even the newest entrants like Ayush to the fold know it. Do you think that 3 Maulanas and 6 family members did not know this? Do you think they would tell Ayush why they are brainwashing him, manipulating him to convert out of Hinduism and accept Islam? Do you think they would be honest about that? Do you think they would tell him that it is not for love, for which they want him to convert, but because he is another pawn in their wet dreams of turning India into Darul Islam? Carl Jung said that every human being goes through a moment of deep psychological crisis, a moment when the identity they build to survive in the world, what he called the persona, starts to crack from inside, from within. Think about a young, educated Hindu man who has done everything his family asked of him, but is privately empty and quietly burning with anger because it is his own Hindu identity, his own upbringing, that is stopping him from being with the woman he loves. His old self no longer fits, but a new one hasn't been built just yet. Jung called this the dark night of the soul, and he warned that this is the most dangerous moment a person can live through because the mind is desperately grabbing at anything that will give it meaning. This is exactly where Dr. Israr Ahmad's lecture move in like a predator. Dr. Israr is calm, scholarly, soft-spoken, the wise, reassuring father figure that a broken, searching mind has been waiting for. He hands this young man a complete intellectual framework that makes conversion feel logical, inevitable, even liberating. To someone in that much pain, it doesn't feel like manipulation. It feels like rescue. But make no mistake, it is manipulation, cold and calculated. In fact, Jung's theory tells us that it even goes deeper than that. All of us carry a shadow, a dark interior space stuffed with everything we were told to suppress: rage, shame, rebellion, and of course, forbidden love. Dr. Israr's thundering prophecy of a global Islamic revolution, of a rotten world being smashed and replaced, speaks directly into that shadow. It takes the young man's buried anger and dresses it up as a holy purpose. And then there is what Jung calls the anima, the deep psychological pull towards the romantic opposite. When this vulnerable Hindu man Ayush falls for a Muslim woman who offers him warmth, intellectual fire, and a completely new vision of the world, his rational mind shuts down entirely. She is no longer just a woman he loves. In his psyche, she has become the answer to every question he has ever had about himself. Accepting her fate then feels less like surrendering to outside pressure and more like becoming whole again. This is where the real crime of this manipulation lies. The young man's pain is genuine. His hunger for meaning is genuine. His love is genuine. What Dr. Israr's machine does is reach into that genuine, raw human longing and weaponize it, turning a man's most vulnerable moment into a conversion opportunity. Essentially, Chandni, her family, and the Maulanas ensure that Ayush is first put in a vulnerable psychological position and then handed him the framework to convert to Islam. A well thought out manipulation strategy crafted over 1500 years. This is not love. This is not homecoming. This isn't religious fulfillment of the battered soul. This is brainwashing. This is manipulation. A step perfected to turn Darul Harb into Darul Islam. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Islam. And Ayush is not a hero, as Arfa would have you believe, but a victim of the cult of death.